The interview was supposed to last 10 minutes. Kwon Taeyong had already decided to reject the candidate before she even walked through the door. He needed a nanny for appearances, someone to make his business associates believe he was a stable family man. Someone quiet, obedient, and above all, temporary. What he got was Zara Mitchell standing in his office doorway with a designer diaper bag on one shoulder, a baby carrier strapped to her chest, and another infant balanced on her hip. Mr. Kwon. Her voice was steady, professional. American accent with a hint of something softer underneath. I'm here for the nanny position. Taeyong stared. His assistant Ji-won stood behind Zara, eyes wide with panic, clearly trying to communicate something urgent. You brought children. Taeyong's voice was flat, controlled. Inside, confusion warred with irritation. I brought my daughters, yes. Zara stepped fully into his massive office without waiting for permission. The baby on her hip, a girl with perfect brown skin and the biggest, most luminous eyes Taeyong had ever seen, stared at him with innocent curiosity. The other twin, secured in the chest carrier, was fast asleep, tiny fists curled near cherubic cheeks. The job listing didn't mention you had children. Taeyong leaned back in his leather chair, studying her. Zara was beautiful. He noticed that immediately and resented himself for noticing. Tall, confident posture, natural hair pulled into a sleek bun, wearing professional clothes that somehow still looked elegant despite the babies attached to her. The job listing said you needed a nanny immediately. It didn't say you required someone without children. Zara's smile was pleasant, but her eyes were sharp. I'm the most qualified candidate you'll interview today, possibly this month. The audacity. Taeyong felt something shift in his chest. Amusement? Irritation? He wasn't sure. That's quite a claim. It's a fact. I have a degree in early childhood development from Columbia University. 5 years experience with Seoul's top diplomatic families. Fluent in Korean, English, and Mandarin. CPR certified. And I'm available to start today. With 2 infants. With 2 very well-behaved infants, Zara corrected. As if on cue, the baby on her hip reached tiny hands toward Taeyong and made a soft cooing sound that was impossibly sweet. Taeyong's carefully constructed walls trembled. How old? He asked, surprising himself. 6 months. This is Arya, Zara indicated the baby reaching for him. And this is Zoe. She gently touched the sleeping infant's back. They're twins. I can see that. Taeyong stood, moving around his desk. He should end this interview immediately. Send her away. Call another agency. But something kept him rooted there, watching as Arya's face broke into the most devastating smile he'd ever witnessed. 2 tiny teeth showed in her gummy grin, and her eyes crinkled with pure joy. Drop a comment below if you think Taeyong is already charmed by these babies. Mr. Kwon, I understand this is unconventional, Zara continued. Her voice carried a weight he recognized. Desperation hidden under confidence. He'd heard it before in people who needed something badly but refused to beg. But I promise you, my children won't interfere with my work. They're on schedule. They nap at predictable times. And I only need a small room we can all share. You won't even know we're here. I don't have children. Taeyong said it like an accusation. Why would I hire a nanny with 2 babies? Because you don't actually need a nanny, do you? Zara's eyes met his directly. You need someone to play a role. Someone to make you look softer, more trustworthy, family-oriented. The air in the room changed. Taeyong's expression went cold. Dangerous. Careful. I did my research, Mr. Kwon. Zara didn't flinch. You're trying to expand your business into family-oriented real estate ventures. Your investors want to see stability, a personal life that suggests you understand family values. She paused. I can give you that image. And unlike other candidates, I have real children who make the picture authentic. Silence stretched between them. G1 had disappeared from the doorway, probably sensing the tension. You're either very brave or very foolish, Taeyong finally said. I'm a single mother with twin babies and no family support in Seoul. I'm desperate. Zara's mask slipped just slightly. But I'm also exceptional at my job. You need me, Mr. Kwon. Even if you don't realize it yet. Arya chose that moment to reach for Taeyong again, making insistent grabbing motions with her small hands. "Ah ba ba ba," she babbled, her face so earnest, so openly trusting. "She likes you," Zara observed quietly. "That's rare. Arya is usually shy with strangers. I'm not good with children. You don't have to be. That's my job." Zara shifted Arya to her other hip. "You just have to occasionally be seen with us. Family dinners with business partners. A photo for your office. Maybe a weekend appearance at a park. I'll handle everything else." Taeyong studied Zoe, still sleeping peacefully against Zara's chest. The baby's face was perfect, smooth brown skin, long eyelashes resting against round cheeks, a tiny mouth forming a peaceful pout. Something about seeing her so vulnerable, so completely trusting in her mother's arms, made his chest ache in a way he didn't understand. What happened to their father? He shouldn't ask, shouldn't care. Zara's expression hardened. Not in the picture. Never was, never will be. Family. In America. We're not in contact. Friends and soul. I'm working on that. Her jaw set stubbornly. We're fine on our own. They clearly weren't fine. Taeyong recognized the signs. The slight wear on her expensive clothes, suggesting they'd been worn too many times. The shadows under her eyes despite her professional makeup. The way she held her babies, like they were her only anchor in a storm. He should say no. This was a complication he didn't need. 2 babies in his carefully controlled home? Chaos. Noise. Unpredictability. But then Arya smiled at him again, and Zoe stirred in her sleep, making a soft sound that was possibly the most innocent thing Taeyong had ever heard. 1-month trial, he heard himself say. You'll have the 3rd floor, east wing. 3 rooms, bedroom, nursery, and sitting room. Salary is $15 million monthly. You'll accompany me to business dinners as needed. In public, you're my son's nanny. You don't have sons. They don't know that. As far as anyone is concerned, I have 2 young sons who are away at boarding school. You care for them when they're home. The details don't matter. Zara's eyes widened slightly. You're lying to your business partners about having children. I'm creating an image. There's a difference. Taeyong moved back to his desk, already regretting this decision. Do we have an agreement or not? The salary is generous. I pay for discretion and competence. Can you provide both? Yes. No hesitation. Then we have a deal. Taeyong pulled out a contract his lawyer had prepared. Standard nanny agreement. You'll sign this. G1 will show you to your rooms. You start tomorrow. I start now. Zara adjusted Arya on her hip. If I'm living here, I should see the space and begin settling in. The girls need consistency. Fine. G1. His assistant appeared instantly. Show Ms. Mitchell to the East Wing. Have staff help with her belongings. I don't have much, Zara said quietly. 2 suitcases. We travel light. Something about that statement made Taeyong's instincts flare. Running from something. Someone. But he pushed the thought away. Not his business. This was a transaction. Nothing more. One more thing, he said as Zara turned to leave. Why did you really come here? There are easier positions. Families who would welcome a nanny with children. Zara met his eyes. For a moment, he saw past her professional mask to something deeper. Fear, determination, and a fierce, protective love that reminded him of a lioness guarding cubs. Because you're powerful enough that no one would dare come looking for us here, she said simply. I need that protection, Mr. Kwon, even if you don't realize you're providing it. Before he could respond, she was gone, following G1 down the hall. Arya looked back over her mother's shoulder, gave Taeyong one more devastating smile, and waved a tiny hand. Taeyong stood alone in his office, staring at the doorway, wondering what he'd just agreed to. 3 hours later, Taeyong regretted everything. Sir, the babies are crying. G1 stood in his office doorway, looking genuinely distressed. Both of them. Very loudly. Taeyong didn't look up from his contract review. And Ms. Mitchell asked if you have any white noise machines. Also, she needs the Wi-Fi password and wants to know if the kitchen staff can prepare pureed vegetables. Also, G1. Taeyong's voice was sharp. Why are you telling me this? Because she's your employee now, sir. She's the nanny. Handle it. She specifically asked for you. That made Taeyang look up. Why? She said, and I quote, "Tell your boss that if he wants this arrangement to work, he needs to approve the household adjustments himself. I don't deal with middle management." Despite his irritation, Taeyang almost smiled. Did she actually say that? Word for word, sir. The crying from upstairs got louder. Taeyang could hear it now, two distinct voices, one slightly higher pitched than the other, both expressing monumental displeasure with something. Fine. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket. Let's see what the problem is. The East Wing had been closed for years, guest rooms his family never used. Now as Taeyang approached, he heard not just crying, but Zara's voice, soft and soothing, singing something in English. "Hush, little babies, don't you cry. Mama's gonna sing you a lullaby." He paused outside the open door. The nursery had been set up with impressive efficiency. 2 cribs, borrowed from storage, he assumed, stood against one wall. Zara sat in the middle of the floor, still in her professional clothes, with both babies in front of her. Arya was crying, tears streaming down her chubby cheeks. Zoe was working herself up to it, her face scrunched and red. "I know, sweethearts. I know." Zara's voice was tired but patient. "New place, new sounds. It's scary. But Mama's right here." "What's wrong with them?" Taeyang asked from the doorway. Zara looked up, and he saw the exhaustion clearly now. They're overstimulated. New environment, strange smells, different sounds. "It'll pass, but," she gestured helplessly. "They need consistency. White noise helps. They're regular bottles. Maybe some familiar music. You don't have those things?" "I have 2 suitcases, Mr. Kwan. I have formula and diapers. Everything else," she trailed off, looking down at her crying daughters. "I thought I could make do. I always make do." Taeyang watched Arya's little face crumple with distress, watched Zoe's tears begin to fall. Something in his chest cracked open. Unexpected, unwelcome. G1. He pulled out his phone. "I'm sending you a list. I want everything delivered within 2 hours. Charge it to my personal account." "Sir." "White noise machines. 2. High-end models. Also bottles, BPA-free, multiple sizes. Pureed vegetables, organic. Get a variety. Baby toys." He paused. "What toys do 6-month-olds need?" Zara blinked up at him. "Soft ones. Nothing with small parts. Rattles. Teething rings. Board books. Add that. Also blankets. Soft ones." And he looked at the cribs. "Better cribs. These are 20 years old. Mr. Kwan, you don't have to. If they're crying, they're not serving their purpose," he said bluntly. "I need them to be happy and quiet for this arrangement to work. Consider it a business investment." But he didn't leave. Instead, he found himself walking into the room, stopping near where Zara sat with her daughters. "May I?" He gestured to Arya. Zara's surprise was evident. "You want to hold her? You said she liked me earlier." Maybe he didn't finish the sentence. Didn't even know why he was offering. Carefully, Zara lifted Arya and held her out. Support her head and her bottom. Like this. Taeyang took the baby awkwardly, feeling the warm weight of her settle against his chest. Arya stopped crying immediately, staring up at him with wide, teary eyes. Her little hands grabbed onto his tie, and she made a soft, hiccuping sound. "Well," Zara said quietly. "That's unexpected." Arya's expression shifted. The distress faded, replaced by curious wonder. She studied Taeyang's face like he was the most fascinating thing in the world, then suddenly broke into that same devastating smile from earlier. Her tiny hand patted his cheek, soft, trusting, innocent. Taeyang felt something shift fundamentally inside him. This baby, this tiny, vulnerable, perfect baby, was smiling at him like he was someone worth smiling at. Like he was safe. "Good. She really does like you," Zara murmured. "I've never seen her warm up to someone so fast. I don't understand why. Babies have good instincts." Zara was rocking Zoe now, who had also calmed down. "They sense things adults miss." "What could she possibly sense from me?" "That you're trustworthy." Zara met his eyes. "That underneath all that ice, you're someone who protects people." Taeyang wanted to argue, wanted to tell her she was wrong, that he was exactly as cold as he appeared, that he protected his interests and nothing more. But Arya chose that moment to yawn, the tiniest, most adorable yawn he'd ever witnessed, and snuggle into his chest like she belonged there. The items will arrive within 2 hours, he said, his voice rougher than intended. Make a list of anything else you need. G1 will handle it. Thank you. Zara's gratitude was genuine. This means everything. It's just supplies. No, it's not. She looked down at Zoe, now peaceful in her arms. It's safety, stability, a chance to breathe. You have no idea what that's worth. Taeyang should leave. Hand Arya back. Return to his work. But the baby had fallen asleep against him, her little mouth slightly open, her breathing soft and even. Her trust was absolute. Why are you really here, Ms. Mitchell? He asked quietly. What are you running from? Zara's expression shuddered. That's not part of our agreement. It becomes part of our agreement if it brings danger to my home. It won't. I promise. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give right now. She stood carefully, holding Zoe. Please, Mr. Kwan. 1 month. Just give us 1 month to prove this can work. He should press. Should demand answers. But looking at Arya's sleeping face, at Zoe's peaceful expression, at Zara's desperate hope, he found himself nodding. 1 month. But Ms. Mitchell. His voice hardened. If I find out you've lied to me about anything that could endanger my household, this arrangement ends immediately. Understood. Understood. Good. He carefully transferred Arya back to Zara's free arm. G1 will bring dinner to your rooms tonight. Tomorrow we'll establish a schedule. He was almost to the door when Zara called out softly, Mr. Kwan. He turned. Thank you for giving us a chance. I won't let you down. Taeyang nodded once and left, but he could still feel the phantom weight of Arya in his arms, could still see her trusting smile, could still hear Zoe's peaceful breathing. What had he gotten himself into? The first business dinner happened 3 days later. Taeyang stood in his bedroom, adjusting his tie for the 3rd time. Downstairs, his driver waited. Upstairs, Zara was presumably getting the twins ready. This was a mistake. Taking babies to a high-stakes business dinner with potential investors? Insanity. His phone buzzed. Zara, we're ready. Should we meet you downstairs? Taeyang typed back, yes. 5 minutes. He'd barely seen her since that first day. She kept to the east wing, quiet and efficient. The babies barely made noise, just occasional soft sounds that somehow carried through the mansion. Laughter. Babbling. Once singing. He'd found himself pausing outside their wing more than once, just listening. Now, descending the stairs, he heard different sounds. Zara's voice, low and soothing. I know, Arya. I know you don't like the dress. But you look so beautiful, sweetheart. Just for a few hours, okay. Taeyang reached the foyer and stopped. Zara stood near the door in a simple black dress that somehow made her look both professional and stunning. Her hair was down, natural curls framing her face. But it was the twins that stole his breath. Arya wore a white dress with tiny flowers embroidered along the hem. A matching headband sat on her curly hair. She was chewing on her fist, but when she saw Taeyang, her face lit up with that smile that was becoming dangerously familiar. Zoe wore pink, soft and delicate, with little ruffles at the shoulders. She was quieter than her sister, watching everything with serious, intelligent eyes. There, Taeyang couldn't find words. Adorable. Zara supplied, a hint of pride in her voice. I know. It's almost unfair how cute they are. Where did you get the dresses? The shopping delivery. I found an online boutique that does same day. She adjusted Arya's headband. I figured if we're playing the part, we should look it. Taeyang's driver appeared, eyes widening at the sight of the babies. Sir, are we bringing children? Yes, Sungho. Is that a problem? No, sir. Just unexpected. Get used to the unexpected, Taeyang muttered. He looked at Zara. They'll stay calm. This dinner is important. I've got backup bottles, pacifiers, toys, and an entire bag of emergency supplies. Zara hoisted a designer diaper bag. We'll be fine. Trust me. I'm trusting you with a $50 million deal. Then you're trusting the right person. She headed for the door. Come on, girls. Let's show these business people what real power looks like. The restaurant was exclusive, the kind where Seoul's elite made deals over $1,000 bottles of wine. Taeyong's guests were already seated. Park Jin-woo, a real estate mogul, and his wife Min-ji, a former actress known for her charity work. They were expecting a ruthless businessman. What they got was Taeyong walking in with a beautiful woman and 2 babies that belonged in a magazine spread. Mr. Kwon. Jin-woo stood, surprise evident. We didn't know you had family. My private life is private, Taeyong said smoothly, helping Zara into her chair. The restaurant staff had already positioned 2 high chairs. But I thought tonight called for a more personal atmosphere. This is Zara Mitchell, my son's nanny. And these are Arya and Zoe. Min-ji's face transformed. Oh my goodness, they're precious. May I? She reached for Arya before Zara could respond. For a moment, Taeyong tensed. What if Arya cried? What if this entire plan collapsed in the first 5 minutes? But Arya, that little traitor, smiled at Min-ji and reached for her necklace with curious fingers. She's stunning, Min-ji cooed. Look at those eyes. And this one, she smiled at Zoe, who watched her seriously. So thoughtful. What beautiful babies. Thank you, Zara said warmly. They're my whole world. Your sons are away. Jin-woo asked Taeyong. Boarding school. But they'll be home for holidays. The lie came easily. Zara travels with us, helps maintain consistency. Smart. Jin-woo nodded approvingly. Family matters. My own children are grown now, but I remember those years. Exhausting but precious. The conversation flowed. Zara was masterful, engaging when appropriate, fading into the background when business talk intensified. The twins were angels. Arya babbled happily, playing with Min-ji's bracelet. Zoe watched everything with those serious eyes, occasionally reaching for Zara. You're very lucky, Mr. Kwon, Min-ji said as their entrees arrived. To have found someone so capable. Good nannies are impossible to find. I'm aware. Taeyong glanced at Zara, who was cutting her food one-handed while bouncing Zoe on her lap. Ms. Mitchell is exceptional. Something passed between them, brief, electric. Zara looked away first. And you're comfortable with the twins accompanying you to business matters? Jin-woo asked. That's unconventional. I believe in family presence, Taeyong improvised. Children remind us what we're building for. Why we work so hard. He almost believed his own words. Exactly. Jin-woo beamed. That's exactly the philosophy I look for in partners. Min-ji, didn't I say? I said this man understands what matters. The deal was as good as signed. Then Arya started fussing. It began as small sounds, little whimpers. Zara immediately shifted, reaching for her bag. Excuse me, she murmured. She's hungry. Please don't apologize, Min-ji insisted. Babies need to eat. Do what you need to do. Zara pulled out a bottle, testing the temperature on her wrist before offering it to Arya. The baby latched on immediately, her little hands wrapping around Zara's fingers. Taeyong watched transfixed. There's something achingly intimate about it. The way Zara gazed down at Arya, the soft smile on her face, the gentle way she stroked the baby's cheek. You're staring, Zara said quietly, not looking up. I'm observing. Same thing. Not quite. Zoe chose that moment to reach for Taeyong, making insistent sounds. Everyone at the table noticed. I think someone wants Uncle Taeyong, Min-ji teased. Uncle. Right. He was supposed to be their employer, nothing more. But Zoe's little arms were outstretched, her face scrunched in determination. And Zara was occupied with Arya. May I? Taeyong asked, surprising himself. Please, Zara said gratefully. He lifted Zoe from her high chair, settling her against his chest the way he'd learned with Arya. She immediately calmed, her small hand gripping his tie just like her sister had done. Then she laid her head on his shoulder, trusting, peaceful, and made a soft, contented sound. The entire table melted. Oh my God, Min-ji whispered. That's the sweetest thing I've ever seen. Jin-woo cleared his throat, suspiciously emotional. You're natural, Mr. Kwon. Taeyong had no response. Zoe's weight against him felt right in a way that made no sense. Her baby warmth, her trust, her tiny fingers clutching his expensive suit, it all combined into something that cracked through his carefully maintained walls. She really likes you, Zara observed, feeding Arya. Both of them do. It's remarkable. They have poor judgment, Taeyong muttered, but his hand was cradling Zoe's back with unexpected gentleness. The dinner concluded successfully. Jin Woo signed preliminary agreements. Min-ji insisted on taking photos with the twins. And Taeyong found himself reluctant to hand Zoe back to Zara when it was time to leave. That went better than expected, Zara said in the car. Both babies were drowsy, fighting sleep. Your investors love them. They serve their purpose. Is that all they are to you? A business tool. Taeyong looked at Arya, now sleeping against Zara's shoulder, her little mouth open. At Zoe, heavy-eyed and peaceful in her car seat. What else would they be? I don't know. Maybe something real. Zara's voice was soft. The way you held Zoe tonight, that wasn't acting. You're reading too much into it. Am I? She met his eyes in the dim car. Because from where I sat, you looked like someone who cares. Maybe for the first time in a long time. Taeyong wanted to argue, to rebuild his walls. But Zoe had fallen asleep holding onto his finger. And somehow that tiny point of contact felt like the most honest thing in his life. Don't mistake necessity for emotion, Ms. Mitchell. If you say so, Mr. Kwan. But neither of them sounded convinced. The next morning, Taeyong woke to sounds he'd never heard in his home before. Laughter. Baby laughter. He checked his watch, 6:47 a.m. Following the sounds, he found himself outside the East Wing sitting room. The door was cracked open. Inside, Zara sat on the floor in pajamas, cotton shorts, and a tank top that made his mouth go dry. Her natural hair was loose, wild from sleep, and she was playing with the twins, completely absorbed. Where's Arya? She asked in an exaggerated voice, hiding behind her hands. Where did she go? Arya squealed with delight, her whole body wiggling with excitement. Peekaboo. Zara dropped her hands, and Arya dissolved into giggles, the most joyful sound Taeyong had ever heard. Pure happiness, uncomplicated and free. Zoe clapped her hands, laughing too, wanting her turn. Where's Zoe? Where did she go? Zara repeated the game, and Zoe's laughter joined her sister's. Taeyong stood frozen, watching this moment of pure love. Zara's face was unguarded, radiant with joy. The babies were beautiful in their happiness, and something in his chest ached with an emotion he couldn't name. This was what family looked like. Real family. Not business arrangements or strategic appearances, but genuine love and connection. Mr. Kwan. He'd been spotted. Zara looked up, suddenly self-conscious in her pajamas. I heard noise, he said awkwardly. Wanted to make sure everything was fine. We're fine. Just morning playtime. She stood, smoothing her shorts. Sorry if we woke you. You didn't. He stepped into the room. Immediately, both babies turned to him. Arya's face lit up, and she crawled toward him with surprising speed, babbling ba ba ba. She's getting faster, Zara warned. Started crawling 2 weeks ago. Now she's everywhere. Arya reached Taeyong's feet, grabbed his pants leg, and pulled herself up to standing. Wobbly but determined. She looked up at him with such pure joy that his heart actually hurt. Up, she seemed to say, reaching her arms high. I should go, Taeyong started. Just pick her up, Zara said, amused. She'll cry if you don't. Trust me, he bent down, lifting Arya. She immediately snuggled into his neck, making happy sounds. Her hair smelled like baby shampoo, soft, clean, innocent. Zoe, not wanting to be left out, crawled over and grabbed his other leg. Well, Zara laughed. Looks like you're popular this morning. This is ridiculous. This is adorable. There's a difference. She picked up Zoe, who immediately tried to reach for Taeyong instead. See? You're the favorite. I don't want to be the favorite. Too late. You made them smile, held them gently, and didn't disappear. In their world, that makes you safe. Special. Zara's expression softened. They're good judges of character, Mr. Kwan. If they love you, there's a reason. They don't love me. They're babies. They don't understand. Arya patted his cheek, the same gesture from days ago. Then she laid her head on his shoulder with complete trust, sighing contentedly. The walls crumbled a little more. I have meetings, Taeyong said roughly. Of course. Zara took Arya from him, and the baby protested with unhappy sounds. We'll stay out of your way. He should leave. Should return to his world of contracts and strategy. But watching Arya reach for him, Her little face, confused about why he was leaving, stopped him. Tonight, he heard himself say, I'll be home by 7. We could eat together. You and the twins. In the main dining room. Zara's surprise was evident. You want to have dinner with us? For appearances. In case staff talk. The lie was thin. They both knew it. Right. Appearances. A small smile played on her lips. We'd love to. For appearances. 7 o'clock. We'll be there. Dinner at 7 became a routine. 3 nights turned into a week. 1 week became 2. And somehow, without either of them acknowledging it, Taeyong's carefully controlled life had shifted to accommodate 2 6-month-old babies and the woman who cared for them. She threw sweet potato in my hair, Taeyong announced one evening, walking into the dining room. Sure enough, orange mush decorated his expensive suit jacket. Zara looked up from wiping Zoe's face and burst into laughter. Oh my God. Arya, what did you do? Arya, sitting in her high chair, smiled innocently and clapped her hands. She's a menace, Taeyong said, but there was no heat in it. He'd learned to keep spare clothes nearby during meals. She's artistic. There's a difference. Zara handed him a cloth. Here, let me. She reached up to wipe his jacket, and suddenly they were close. Too close. Her hand on his chest, his breath catching at the contact. Her eyes met his, and the air between them changed. I can do it, he said quietly, but didn't move. I know. She didn't move either. They stood frozen, the moment stretching. Zara's hand was warm through his shirt. He could smell her perfume, something light and floral. Could see the flecks of gold in her brown eyes. Then Zoe started crying, and the spell broke. Sorry, Zara stepped back quickly, flustered. She's tired. Missed her afternoon nap because we had visitors. What visitors? Taeyong's protective instincts flared immediately. Just G1. He brought more supplies. She picked up Zoe, bouncing her gently. Why do you look concerned? I don't like unexpected visitors. It was your assistant. Still, he couldn't explain the unease. From now on, tell me when anyone comes to your wing. Anyone. Mr. Kwon. Taeyong. The correction surprised them both. When it's just us, call me Taeyong. Zara studied him carefully. Okay, Taeyong, but you're being overprotective. Maybe I have a reason to be. What does that mean? He shouldn't push. Should let it go. But 2 weeks of watching her jump at unexpected sounds, of noticing how she always positioned herself between the babies and the door, of seeing fear flash in her eyes when his phone rang. It added up. Who are you hiding from, Zara? Her entire body tensed. I'm not. Don't lie. Not to me. He moved closer, his voice low. Someone hurt you. Someone you're afraid of. That's why you needed this job so desperately. Why you came here with 2 babies and 2 suitcases. Why you look terrified whenever the doorbell rings. Tears filled her eyes. Please don't ask me about this. If they're in danger, I need to know. Why? Why do you care? Her voice broke. We're just employees. Just a business arrangement. Taeyong looked at Zoe, now sleeping against Zara's shoulder. At Arya, watching them with serious eyes, sensing the tension. You stopped being just business the moment Arya first smiled at me, he admitted quietly. Tell me what you're running from. Let me help. Zara's tears fell freely now. His name is Marcus. He was my ex. The twins' father. The words came out in a rush. He didn't want them. Said I should terminate the pregnancy. When I refused, he got violent. After they were born, he started making threats. Said if I didn't come back to him, he'd take them, hurt them, prove I was an unfit mother. Rage, cold and deadly, filled Taeyong's chest. Where is he now? I don't know. That's what scares me. I left America, changed my number, disappeared. But Marcus has connections. Money. Resources. She looked at him desperately. If he finds us. He won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Taeyong's voice was steel. You're under my protection now. All 3 of you. And I protect what's mine. We're not yours. Aren't you? He stepped closer, his hand gentle on Zoe's back. This baby falls asleep on me every night. Her sister cries if I leave the room. And you, his eyes met hers. You've made me feel things I thought were dead. So yes, you're mine. And no one threatens what's mine. The intensity between them crackled like electricity. Taeyong, Zara whispered. Let me protect you. All of you. Properly. Not just as your employer, but as, he paused, the words foreign on his tongue. As family. We barely know each other. I know you're brave. Strong. Devoted. I know you sing to them at 2 a.m. when they can't sleep. I know you put their needs before your own always. I know you're terrified, but you never let them see it. His voice dropped. And I know that somewhere between diaper changes and bedtime stories, you've become important to me. They've become important to me. This is crazy. Probably. Does it matter? Before she could answer, Arya let out a loud yawn, rubbing her eyes with tiny fists. She's tired, Zara said softly. I should put them to bed. Let me help. It wasn't a question. Bedtime became sacred. Every night at 8 o'clock, Taeyong found himself in the nursery, helping Zara with the twins' routine. Tonight, he held Zoe while Zara bathed Arya in the small tub they'd set up. Splash, splash, baby girl. Zara cooed as Arya slapped the water with delighted hands, giggling uncontrollably. Water went everywhere, on Zara's shirt, on the floor, probably in Arya's ears. Neither of them cared. Zoe watched from Taeyong's arms, her thumb in her mouth, eyes heavy with sleep. Your sister's trouble, Taeyong told her softly. You're the sensible one, aren't you? Zoe made a soft sound around her thumb, as if agreeing. Don't let him fool you, Zara said, lifting a dripping, giggling Arya from the tub. Zoe has her moments. Last week she figured out how to throw her pacifier across the room. Now it's her favorite game. Strategic thinking. She'll be dangerous when she's older. They both will. Zara wrapped Arya in a fluffy towel, kissing her wet curls. Smart, beautiful, and stubborn. The world won't know what hit it. Taeyong watched Zara with Arya. The tenderness, the natural affection, the complete devotion. Something twisted in his chest. Want. Need. Things he denied himself for so long. Your turn, Zoe Bear, Zara announced, taking the sleepy baby from his arms. Let's get you clean. While Zara bathed Zoe, Taeyong dressed Arya in her pajamas, soft cotton with little stars printed on them. The baby was more cooperative now, used to his hands, trusting his touch. Ba, she babbled, patting his face. Is that my name? Baba. She's trying to say something. Zara called from the bathroom. Maybe boss? Since she hears the staff call you that? I'd prefer something else. Like what? Appa. The Korean word for father slipped out, and Zara immediately tensed. Sorry. I didn't mean. It's fine. But his heart had stuttered at the word. Appa. Father. Him. Impossible. Wasn't it? Arya yawned, her little body relaxing into his arms. He carried her to the rocking chair, settling in while Zara finished with Zoe. The baby's weight against him had become familiar, comforting even. Her trust absolute. Story time, Zara announced, emerging with a clean, pajama-clad Zoe. She grabbed a board book from the shelf. Tonight's selection, Goodnight Moon. They'd done this before, Zara reading while Taeyong held one or both babies. But tonight felt different, heavier with meaning. Zara settled on the floor near the rocking chair, Zoe in her lap, and began reading. Her voice was soft, melodic, turning the simple story into something magical. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Arya's eyes drooped. Zoe's thumb found her mouth again, and Taeyong found himself staring at Zara instead of listening to the words. She was beautiful. He'd known that from the start. But now he saw beyond physical beauty to something deeper, the strength in her gentleness, the courage in her vulnerability, the fierce love that radiated from every gesture she made toward her daughters. When had she stopped being just a nanny? When had this stopped being just an arrangement? You're staring again, Zara whispered, finishing the book. I'm thinking. About how this happened. He looked down at Arya, now fast asleep in his arms. 3 weeks ago, my life was simple, controlled. Now I'm reading bedtime stories and learning the difference between sweet potato and butternut squash baby food. Regretting it? No, the answer came immediately, honestly. That's what confuses me. I should regret this. Should want my old life back. But I don't. Zara stood, gently placing Zoe in her crib. The baby stirred but didn't wake, immediately finding comfort in her familiar space. Change isn't always bad, Taeyang. It's dangerous, though. He rose carefully, settling Arya in her crib next to her sister. Getting attached, caring. It makes you vulnerable. It also makes you human. He turned to face her. They were close in the dim nursery, just the soft glow of the nightlight between them. What if I don't know how to be human anymore? What if I've been cold for so long that I've forgotten? You haven't forgotten. Zara's hand found his arm. The way you hold them, talk to them, protect them, that's not cold. That's love, Taeyang. Even if you won't admit it. Love is a liability. Love is strength. Her eyes searched his face. It's what keeps me going every day. What makes me brave enough to face whatever comes. These girls, she glanced at the cribs. They made me stronger than I ever was before. And me. His voice was rough. What am I to them? You're becoming everything. The admission hung between them. You're the man Arya reaches for when she's scared. The arms Zoe falls asleep in. The voice they listen for when you come home. She paused. You're becoming their person, Taeyang. Their safe place. I'm dangerous. My world is dangerous. Then we'll stay in it together. All of us. She moved closer, her hand sliding up to his chest. Unless you don't want that. Want. Such a simple word for the complicated tangle of emotions churning through him. I want. He stopped, searching for words. I want you safe. I want them growing up without fear. I want. The words caught in his throat. But Zara understood. She always understood. It's okay to want things, Taeyang. To need people. You're allowed to have this. Her voice dropped to a whisper. We're allowed to have each other. He cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. This is insane. You've said that before. It bears repeating. But he was leaning closer, drawn by something stronger than logic. Taeyang, his name on her lips was a prayer, a question, a plea. He kissed her. Soft, careful, like she might shatter. She made a small sound, surprise, surrender, and kissed him back. It was nothing like he'd imagined. Wasn't hungry or desperate. Instead, it was gentle. Promise. A beginning rather than a conquest. When they pulled apart, both were breathing hard. We should talk about this, Zara whispered. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, she agreed. But neither moved. They stood there in the soft darkness, two babies sleeping peacefully nearby, and everything changed without a single word being spoken. The next morning brought reality crashing back. Taeyang was in his office reviewing contracts when Ji-won burst in, phone in hand, face pale. Sir, we have a problem. What kind? Someone's asking questions about Ms. Mitchell and the twins. Ji-won pulled up security footage on his tablet. This man was at the gate an hour ago. American. Claimed to be looking for his family. Ice flooded Taeyang's veins. The man on screen was tall, conventionally handsome, with cold eyes and an entitled posture that set every one of Taeyang's instincts on edge. Marcus, he said flatly. You know him? He's the twins' father. And the reason Zara came here. Taeyang stood, rage building. What did you tell him? Nothing. Security turned him away. But sir, he had photos. Of Ms. Mitchell and the babies. Recent photos from outside the mansion. He's been watching us. It appears so. Taeyang's mind raced. Marcus had found them. Was tracking them. Probably waiting for the right moment to strike. Double security. No one gets near this property without my explicit approval. And find out where he's staying. I want eyes on him 24/7. Already done. He's at the Shilla Hotel. Presidential suite. So he has money. And connections, apparently. Our sources say he's claiming Ms. Mitchell kidnapped his children. That he's here to bring his family home. The manipulation was textbook. Paint himself as the victim. Zara as the criminal. He's lying. I believe you, sir. But if he goes to the authorities, he won't. Men like Marcus don't involve police. Too messy, too public. He'll try something else. Taeyang grabbed his jacket. Where's Zara? With the twins in the East Wing playroom. Keep them there. No one disturbs them until I say otherwise. Taeyang found them exactly where Ji-won said. The playroom had been transformed over the past weeks. Soft mats covering the floor, toys scattered everywhere, colorful pictures stuck to the walls. Zara sat cross-legged, building a tower of soft blocks, while Arya knocked them down with gleeful enthusiasm. Zoe was nearby, chewing on a teething ring, watching her sister's chaos with patient eyes. The scene was so peaceful, so normal, that Taeyong almost hated to destroy it. Zara. She looked up, and immediately her smile faded. What's wrong? Marcus was here, at the gate. All color drained from her face. She instinctively pulled Arya close. When? An hour ago. Security turned him away, but he moved into the room, closing the door. He's been watching the house. Has recent photos of you and the girls. Oh my God. Her voice shook. He found us. I thought we had more time. I thought. You're safe here. Taeyong knelt beside her, his hand covering hers. I've doubled security. He can't get close. You don't know Marcus. He's smart, calculating. He'll find a way. Then I'll stop him. Simple. Final. Taeyong, he's dangerous. Not like your business rivals. She struggled for words. He's cruel. Enjoys causing pain. If he gets his hands on the girls. He won't. Taeyong's voice was ice. I promise you, Zura. He will never touch them. Arya, sensing the tension, started whimpering. Zoe's face crumpled, preparing to cry. It's okay, babies, Zara said, forcing calm into her voice. Mama's here. Everything's okay. But her hands were shaking. Taeyong took Arya, settling the baby against his chest. Look at me, he told Zara quietly. She did, tears threatening. I've dealt with worse men than Marcus. I've survived things that would break most people. And I've never failed to protect what matters to me. His hand cupped her cheek. You matter. These girls matter. So I won't fail. Do you understand? I'm scared. I know. But you're not alone anymore. He pulled her close with his free arm, Arya between them, Zoe crawling over to press against their legs. We're a family now. Real or arranged, it doesn't matter. What matters is we protect each other. Zara's tears fell then. She buried her face in his shoulder, holding Arya tight, while Zoe made distressed sounds at their feet. He'll try to take them, she whispered. Say, I'm unstable. That I ran away with his children. He has lawyers, Taeyong, money. He'll twist everything. So will I. He kissed the top of her head. And I'm better at it than he is. The confrontation happened 3 days later. Taeyong arranged it deliberately, neutral location. His terms, his control. A private room at an exclusive restaurant where he'd called in favors to ensure privacy and security. Marcus arrived exactly on time, looking every bit the successful businessman in his designer suit. But Taeyong saw through the polish to the ugliness underneath. Mr. Kwan. Marcus extended his hand. Taeyong didn't take it. Sit. Marcus's smile tightened. Direct. I appreciate that. He sat, studying Taeyong. You know why I'm here. You want Zara and the twins. The answer is no. Those are my daughters. Biologically, perhaps. In every way that matters? No. Taeyong leaned back, projecting casual confidence that masked lethal intent. You abandoned them, threatened their mother, forfeited any claim you might have had. That's her version. My version is different. Marcus pulled out his phone, showing photos. See this? Text messages. Evidence that Zara is unstable, paranoid. She fled the country with my children based on delusions. Doctored evidence. Taeyong didn't even glance at the screen. Poorly done, I might add. My lawyers tore it apart in 20 minutes. Marcus's confidence cracked slightly. You have lawyers involved? I have everything involved. Lawyers, investigators, connections in both Korean and American law enforcement. Taeyong pulled out his own tablet, sliding it across the table. These are your financial records. The payments to various women over the past 5 years. The assault charge that was buried with money. The restraining order from your previous girlfriend. Marcus went pale. How did you? I'm thorough. And I'm motivated. Taeyong's voice dropped dangerously low. You came to my country. Threatened someone under my protection. Did you really think I wouldn't research you? Wouldn't find every dirty secret you've tried to hide? This is illegal. So is domestic violence. Stalking. making terroristic threats. Taeyang leaned forward. Here's what's going to happen, Marcus. You're going to sign paperwork relinquishing all parental rights. You're going to return to America. And you're never going to contact Zara or the twins again. And if I refuse, then these documents, Taeyang gestured to the tablet, go to every news outlet in America. Your company's board receives copies. Your clients, your family, everyone learns exactly what kind of man you are. Marcus's hands clenched into fists. You're blackmailing me. I'm protecting my family. The words came out fierce, possessive. Those babies deserve better than a father who sees them as pawns. Zara deserves better than a man who hurt her. So yes, I'm blackmailing you. And I'll do far worse if you push me. They're not your family. You barely know them. I know Arya giggles when I make funny faces. I know Zoe falls asleep easier in my arms than anywhere else. I know Zara sings to them at 2 a.m. and puts their needs before her own, always. Taeyang's eyes were steel. I know they're mine in every way that matters. Blood is irrelevant. The truth of those words settled into his bones. These weren't just words to intimidate Marcus. They were real. Arya, Zoe, Zara, his family. You can't just take my children. I'm not taking them. I'm keeping them from a man who would hurt them. Taeyang pushed legal documents across the table. Sign, or the world learns who you really are. Marcus stared at the papers, jaw clenched. If I sign, what do I get? Your reputation stays intact. Your business survives. You walk away and build whatever life you want without them. And if I fight you, take this to court. You'll lose. I have better lawyers, more resources, and actual evidence of your abuse. Plus, Taeyang's smile was sharp. I'm very good at making problems disappear. Permanently. The threat wasn't subtle. Marcus must have seen something in Taeyang's eyes, the absolute willingness to do whatever necessary, because he picked up the pen. This isn't over, he said, signing. Yes, it is. Taeyang collected the papers. If you ever come near them again, if you so much as Google their names, I'll know. And the consequences will be severe. Do we understand each other? Marcus stood, radiating impotent rage. She'll never really trust you. You know that, right? Men like us, we're all the same to women like her. No, Taeyang stood as well. You're nothing like me. I protect. You destroy. The difference is everything. After Marcus left, Taeyang sat alone in the private room, staring at the signed documents. It was done. The twins were safe. Zara was safe. They were his. Zara was pacing when he got home. The moment Taeyang walked through the door, she was there, eyes wild with worry. Well, what happened? Did he? It's done. Taeyang pulled out the papers. He signed. Full relinquishment of parental rights. He's leaving Seoul tonight. Zara stared at the documents like they might vanish. He actually signed. I was persuasive. How persuasive? Her eyes narrowed. Taeyang, what did you do? Nothing illegal. Just thorough research and strong negotiation. He set the papers on the table. He won't bother you again. Any of you. You're sure? I'm sure. The tension holding Zara together snapped. She launched herself at him, arms wrapping around his neck, body shaking with sobs. Thank you. God, thank you. I was so scared. I know. He held her close, one hand in her hair, the other around her waist. But you don't have to be scared anymore. You're safe here. They're safe here. I don't know how to repay you. Stay. The word came out fierce. Stay with me. Not as an employee. Not as an arrangement. Stay because you want to. Because we're. He pulled back to look at her. Because we're family. Fresh tears spilled down Zara's cheeks. You want us to stay? Really stay. I want you to never leave. I want to wake up every morning to Arya's giggles and Zoe's serious stares. I want messy dinners and bedtime stories, and his voice caught. I want everything. With you. With them. All of it. We come with complications. Baggage. So much mess. I don't care. He cupped her face, thumbs wiping away tears. 3 weeks ago, I was alone. Successful, but empty. Then you walked in with 2 babies and turned everything upside down. And now, he smiled, genuine, unguarded. Now I can't imagine my life without the three of you in it. This is crazy fast. Doesn't make it less real. His forehead touched hers. I'm falling in love with you, Zara. With them. With this family we're building. Tell me you feel it too. I feel it. Her voice broke. God help me, I feel it too. Every time you hold them, every time you smile at their chaos, every time you protect us. She kissed him softly. I'm falling too. Then stay. Officially. Permanently. What does that mean? It means I want to adopt them. Legally. Make them mine in every way. His eyes searched hers. And I want you. However you'll have me. Partner. Co-parent. Eventually more, if you'll let me earn that. You want to adopt my babies? Our babies, he corrected. They already think of me as theirs. Arya calls me Baba. Zoe reaches for me every night. They're mine, Zara. Just like you're mine. If you'll have me. Zara laughed through her tears. You're impossible. Intense. Probably too protective. Definitely too protective. But you're also kind. Gentle with them. Strong enough to keep us safe. She kissed him again. Yes. Yes, we'll stay. Yes, you can adopt them. Yes to all of it. The kiss that followed was different from their first. Deeper, more certain. A promise being sealed. When they finally pulled apart, both were smiling. Should we tell them? Zara asked. Tell them what? They're 6 months old. Still, this is big news. She took his hand, leading him toward the nursery. Come on. Let's go see our daughters. Our daughters. The words settled into Taeyong's chest like they'd always belonged there. In the nursery, both twins were awake in their cribs. The moment they saw Taeyong and Zara, their faces lit up with identical smiles. Baba. Arya squealed, bouncing excitedly. Zoe reached her arms up, making grabby hands. See, Zara laughed. They already know you're theirs. Taeyong picked up Arya while Zara got Zoe. The four of them settled into the rocking chair, cramped, chaotic, absolutely perfect. You know what this means, girls? Taeyong said softly. It means you're stuck with me now. Forever. Arya patted his face. Zoe grabbed his tie. Both giggled like it was the best news ever. And maybe it was. 6 months later, everything had changed. The mansion that once echoed with silence now rang with baby laughter. The formal dining room had been transformed. High chairs permanently stationed at the table, sippy cups replacing wine glasses, and more often than not, someone had food in their hair by meal's end. Taeyong stood in his office, reviewing the final adoption papers. His lawyer had just left, congratulating him on the successful completion of the process. It's official, he murmured, staring at the documents. Arya and Zoe were legally his daughters now. Not biologically, not through marriage, but through choice, through love. You look happy. He turned to find Zara in the doorway, wearing jeans and one of his shirts, a habit she developed over the months. She looked beautiful, relaxed in a way she hadn't been when they first met. I am happy. He held up the papers. It's done. They're officially mine. Ours, Zara corrected, crossing to him. Though the paperwork might say differently. For now. He pulled her close, kissing her softly. But I've been thinking about that. Thinking what? About making it official. All of it. He reached into his desk drawer, pulling out a small velvet box. Zara's breath caught. Taeyong. I know we said we'd take things slow. Build trust. Make sure this was real. He opened the box, revealing a simple but stunning diamond ring. But 6 months of watching you be an incredible mother, 6 months of falling asleep with babies between us, 6 months of this chaotic, beautiful life. He paused. I don't want slow anymore. I want forever. Tears filled her eyes immediately. You want to marry me? I want to marry you. I want to officially be their father. I want our family to be complete on paper the way it already is in reality. He took her hand. Zara Mitchell, will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life loving you and our daughters? Our daughters, she repeated, laughing through tears. I love when you say that. Is that a yes? That's a yes. Absolutely yes. She kissed him hard, then pulled back. But we need to tell the girls first. They should know. They're 1 year old, Zara. They don't understand. They understand love. They understand family. She grabbed his hand. Come on. Let's go tell them they're getting parents who are officially together. They found the twins in the playroom with G1, who'd somehow become an honorary uncle. Arya was toddling around, recently mastered walking, making her unstoppable. Zoe was more cautious, taking careful steps while holding onto furniture. Girls, Zara called. Come here, babies. Mama and Appa have news. Both twins turned at the word Appa, the name they'd naturally started calling Taeyang around month 4. Arya squealed and ran over, Zoe following more carefully. Taeyang scooped up Arya while Zara lifted Zoe. Guess what? He said, bouncing Arya gently. Mama and Appa are getting married. Moi, Arya repeated, testing the word. Married, Zara corrected, laughing. It means we're all going to be a family forever. Officially. We're already a family, Taeyang said quietly, looking at Zoe's serious little face. This just makes it legal. Zoe patted his cheek, her signature gesture of affection, and said clearly, Appa. His heart melted completely. Even after months, hearing her call him father undid him every time. Yes, Zoe Bear, Appa. He kissed her forehead. Forever and always. The wedding was small, intimate. Just close friends, essential business associates, and of course, 2 one-year-olds who stole the entire show. Arya wore a white flower girl dress and refused to walk down the aisle properly, instead running to Taeyang halfway through and demanding to be picked up. The guests laughed, charmed by her complete lack of ceremony awareness. Zoe was more dignified, carefully walking while holding G1's hand. But she kept looking back at Zara with worried eyes until her mother gave her an encouraging smile. We are gathered here today, the officiant began, to witness the union of Kwon Taeyang and Zara Mitchell. And Arya and Zoe. Taeyang interrupted, earning more laughter. This isn't just about us. It's about our family. The officiant smiled. Of course. To witness the union of the Kwon family. Zara's eyes filled with tears, happy ones this time. The Kwon family. Her daughters would have a real family name. Stability. Security. Love. When it came time for vows, Taeyang surprised everyone by kneeling down first to address the twins, who were being held by G1 nearby. Arya, Zoe, he said seriously, as if they could fully understand. I promise to always protect you. To be there for every milestone, every tear, every triumph. I promise to love you unconditionally, not because we share blood, but because you're mine and I'm yours. His voice roughened with emotion. Thank you for choosing me as your father. It's the greatest honor of my life. There wasn't a dry eye in the venue. Then he stood, facing Zara. And you, he said softly. You walked into my life with 2 babies and turned everything upside down. You showed me what family really means. What love really looks like. You made me want to be better, softer, more human. He took her hands. I promise to love you fiercely. To protect our family with everything I have. To be your partner in all things, the chaos, the joy, the sleepless nights, the beautiful moments. I choose you, Zara, today and every day for the rest of our lives. Zara was crying fully now. I didn't prepare anything this beautiful, she admitted, laughing through tears. Just speak from your heart. Okay. She took a shaky breath. Taeyang, when I came to you, I was running. Scared. Desperate. I expected a cold businessman who'd use us for appearances and nothing more. Her voice strengthened. Instead, I found a man who held my crying babies at 3 a.m. without complaint, who learned to make bottles and change diapers and sing lullabies off-key. That got laughs. I found someone who saw past my fear to my strength, who protected us not because he had to, but because he wanted to, who fell in love with my daughters before he fell in love with me. She squeezed his hands. You gave us safety, yes. But more than that, you gave us home. And I promise to spend the rest of my life making sure you know you're loved, appreciated, and cherished. You're stuck with us now, Kwon Taeyang. All 3 of us. Wouldn't have it any other way. They kissed while the guests cheered and the twins, finally understanding something important was happening, clapped their little hands excitedly. The reception was predictably chaotic. Arya discovered cake and decided it was her new favorite thing, ending up with frosting in her hair, on her dress, and somehow on her shoes. Zoe was more refined, eating her small piece carefully, but still managed to get it all over her face. They're disasters, Zara laughed, trying to clean Arya with a wet wipe. They're perfect disasters, Taeyong corrected, holding a squirming Zoe who wanted down to join her sister. Our perfect disasters. Appa down. Zoe demanded, her vocabulary expanding daily. You'll get dirty. Down. He set her down, and she immediately toddled over to Arya, both of them dissolving into giggles over something only they understood. Twin language, Zara explained, seeing Taeyong's confused expression. They have their own communication system. It's actually common. They're plotting something. Probably. They usually are. As if to prove the point, Arya grabbed a handful of cake and offered it to Zoe, who took it and smashed it on her own face, laughing hysterically. Should we stop them? Taeyong asked. Probably. Are we going to? Not yet. They're happy. They stood together, watching their daughters create beautiful chaos, and Taeyong felt a contentment he'd never known existed. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For trusting me. For staying. For giving me this. He gestured to the twins, to the celebration, to everything. I didn't know I was missing anything until you three showed up. Now I can't imagine life without you. Zara leaned into him. You know what the best part is? What? This is just the beginning. We have years of this ahead of us. First days of school, teenage drama, college applications. Let's not rush to the teenage years. I'm not ready for boys. She laughed. You have at least 12 years before that's a concern. Still not enough time to prepare. You'll be fine. You're already the world's most protective father. Someone has to be. Have you seen how cute they are? Boys will be lining up. Taeyong, I'm serious. We need security plans. Background checks. Maybe a fence. Zara kissed him to stop the spiral. We have time. Right now, let's just enjoy this moment. Our wedding. Our family. Our beautiful, messy, perfect life. He pulled her close, watching Arya try to feed cake to a very patient G1, while Zoe toddled around showing her frosting-covered hands to anyone who'd look. I love our beautiful, messy, perfect life, he admitted. So do I. 2 years later, Taeyong sat in his home office, now decorated with children's drawings and family photos. Arya and Zoe, now 3 years old, were in the playroom with their new baby brother, 6-month-old Elijah, whom they'd adopted 4 months ago. Another child who needed a home, another piece of their growing family. Appa, Appa. Arya came running in, Zoe right behind her, baby crying. I'm coming. He stood, following his daughters to where Zara was trying to soothe Elijah. He's fussy today, she said, bouncing the baby gently. I think he's teething. Let me try. Taeyong took Elijah, and the baby immediately calmed, just like his daughters had years ago. Some things never changed. How do you do that? Zara marveled. He was screaming. I have magic touch, Arya announced seriously. Appa has magic touch, Zoe corrected. We just have regular touch. Your touch is pretty magic too, Taeyong assured them, settling into the rocking chair with Elijah. His daughters immediately climbed up, Arya on one armrest, Zoe on the other, creating their familiar family portrait. Tell story, Appa, Arya demanded. About what? About when me and Zoe were babies and you were scared of us. Taeyong laughed. I wasn't scared of you. Mama says you were, Zoe said matter-of-factly. She says we made you nervous. Traitor, Taeyong called to Zara, who was grinning from the doorway. What? It's true. You didn't know which end of a baby was which. That's not, he paused. Okay, that's accurate. But I learned. You did, Zara agreed softly, coming to sit on the floor near the chair. You became the best father these kids could ask for. Tell the story. Arya insisted. All right. Taeyong adjusted Elijah, who was falling asleep. Once upon a time, there was a very serious man who lived in a very quiet house. That's you. Arya interrupted. Yes, that's me. Let me finish. He continued. And one day, a beautiful woman came to his house with 2 tiny babies. That's us. Both girls chorused. Yes. And those babies were very cute, but very loud. They cried and needed things at all hours. The serious man didn't know what to do. But then what happened? Zoe asked, even though she'd heard this story 100 times. Then the serious man realized something important. Those babies and their wonderful mother were exactly what his quiet, empty house needed. They brought noise and chaos and love. Lots and lots of love. And then you became our Appa, Arya finished, snuggling closer. And then I became your Appa. The luckiest Appa in the world. And now we have Elijah too, Zoe added. So we're even more family. Even more family, Taeyang agreed, looking at his wife, his 3 children, his full, chaotic, perfect life. Zara caught his eye, mouthing I love you. He mouthed it back, meaning it with every fiber of his being. That night, after all 3 children were finally asleep, Zara and Taeyang collapsed onto their bed. 3 kids, Zara said to the ceiling. We have 3 kids. We're insane. Completely. She rolled to face him. Any regrets? Not a single one. He pulled her close. Remember when you first showed up? I was so annoyed. 2 babies? In my structured, controlled life? I wanted to send you away immediately. What stopped you? Arya smiled at me, and I was done for. Zara laughed. That smile gets everyone. She's going to be dangerous when she's older. Don't remind me. I'm already dreading the teenage years. You'll be fine. You'll just intimidate every boy who looks at her. That's the plan. They lay in comfortable silence, the kind that only came from years of partnership, of shared midnight feedings and toddler tantrums and moments of pure joy. Taeyang. Thank you for choosing us, for seeing past my desperation to what we could be together. He turned to look at her, brushing hair from her face. Thank you for walking into my life and refusing to leave, for showing me what family really means, for loving me when I didn't think I deserve it. You deserve everything. She kissed him softly. And I'm so glad we get to build this life together. You, me, and our beautiful babies. Our beautiful, exhausting, wonderful babies. Think we should have more? Taeyang groaned. Ask me again in 5 years when Elijah is sleeping through the night. Deal. They fell asleep wrapped in each other's arms, completely content. 5 years after that, the Kwon family home was even more chaotic. Arya, now 8, was fierce and protective. Her father's daughter in every way. Zoe, also 8, was thoughtful and creative, always drawing or writing stories. Elijah, at 5, was energetic and charming, able to talk his way out of any trouble. And then there were the newest additions, twin boys, 4-year-old Kai and Mason, adopted 2 years ago from the foster system. 5 kids. Complete pandemonium. Appa, Kai took my toy. Mason wailed. Did not. Kai protested. Did too. Boys, Taeyang said calmly from where he was helping Elijah with homework. Use your words. Talk it out. But Appa. Words. The boys reluctantly negotiated, eventually deciding to share the toy. Arya appeared in the doorway. Appa, Zoe needs help with her art project. It's due tomorrow, and she's crying. Taeyang found his daughter in her room, surrounded by art supplies, tears streaming down her face. Hey. He sat beside her. What's wrong, Zoe Bear? I can't make it look right. She gestured to a half-finished painting. It's supposed to be our family, but it looks terrible, and everyone else's will be better. Stop. He pulled her into his lap, like he'd done since she was a baby. First, yours will be perfect, because it's yours. Second, let me see. She showed him the painting. It was actually beautiful, each family member depicted with care and love. Him and Zara in the center, 5 children surrounding them. This is wonderful, Zoe. Really. You captured everyone perfectly. See? Arya looks strong. Elijah looks mischievous. The twins look sweet, but chaotic, he smiled. And you put love in every brushstroke. That's what makes it special. You think Mama will like it? Mama will love it. We all will. He kissed her forehead. You have your mother's talent, you know. And her heart. I want to be like both of you, Zoe said quietly. Strong like you, kind like Mama. You already are, sweetheart. You already are. Later, when all 5 children were finally asleep, Zara found Taeyang in the kitchen, making tea. Long day, she asked. The longest. He handed her a cup. But good. Always good. Zoe showed me her painting. It's beautiful. It is. But you know what I noticed? Zara smiled. In the painting, we're all holding hands. Connected. That's how she sees us. That's how we are. He pulled her close. Connected. Chaotic and loud and messy, but connected. Do you ever miss the quiet? The simplicity of your old life? Taeyang looked around their home. Toys scattered everywhere. Children's artwork covering the walls. Photos documenting years of birthdays and holidays and ordinary moments made extraordinary by love. Not for a second, he said honestly. All of this chaos and noise and love, this is what I was missing all along. I just didn't know it until a brave woman showed up at my door with 2 babies and changed everything. Best decision I ever made. Second best, he corrected. The best was saying yes when I proposed. Fair point. They stood together in their messy, beautiful kitchen, listening to the quiet sounds of their sleeping children, grateful for every chaotic, perfect moment. 10 years later, Taeyang stood in a very different office than the one where this all began. The walls were still covered with family photos, but now there were so many more. Arya at 13, already showing signs of becoming a formidable young woman. Zoe at 13, winning her first art competition. Elijah at 10, captain of his soccer team. Kai and Mason at 9, partners in crime who'd grown into thoughtful, kind boys. And the newest addition, 7-year-old Lily, adopted 3 years ago, who'd brought even more light into their already bright home. 6 children, a full house, a complete family. Ready. Zara appeared in the doorway, looking beautiful in a simple dress. For what? The interview. Remember? Soul Family magazine wants to feature us. The unconventional family that works. Taeyang groaned. Do we have to? You agreed. She crossed to him, adjusting his tie. Besides, maybe our story will help other people. Show them that family isn't about blood. It's about choice and love. Fine. But I'm not discussing my business. They don't care about your business. They care about how a bachelor businessman became a father of 6. 7, he corrected. You forgot to count yourself. She laughed. I'm your wife, not your daughter. Still family. Still mine to protect and love. The interview was surprisingly painless. The journalist was respectful. The photographer captured genuine moments of their chaotic family life. Mr. Kwon, the journalist asked at the end, what would you say to someone considering adoption or foster care but feeling hesitant? Taeyang thought about it, looking at Zara, thinking about their 6 children sleeping upstairs. I'd say that love has nothing to do with biology, he said finally. My children aren't mine because we share DNA. They're mine because I chose them and they chose me. Because we built something together. Trust, connection, family. He paused. And I'd say that the moment you open your heart and your home to a child who needs you, you'll understand. It's not about saving them. They save you. That's beautiful. It's true. He stood, signaling the interview was over. Now if you'll excuse us, it's almost bedtime. And with 6 kids, that's a full production. After the journalist left, Zara found him in Lily's room, reading a bedtime story. And the princess realized, he read softly, that family wasn't about where you came from, but about who loved you. And she was very, very loved. The end. Again, Appa. Lily demanded. Tomorrow, little one. Time for sleep. Will you stay until I fall asleep? Always. Zara watched from the doorway as her husband, once the coldest man in Seoul, sat patiently by their daughter's bedside, holding her small hand until she drifted off. This was their life now. Bedtime stories and scraped knees and parent-teacher conferences, and so much love it sometimes felt overwhelming. You coming? Taeyang asked quietly, leaving Lily's room, just appreciating the view. What view? You. Being an incredible father. Never gets old. He pulled her close as they walked down the hall, checking on each child. A nightly ritual. Arya reading under her covers with a flashlight. Zoe sleeping with her sketchbook still in hand. Elijah sprawled across his bed like a starfish. Kai and Mason in their bunk beds. Kai's hand dangling down to hold his brother's. All safe. All loved. All theirs. Think we're done? Zara whispered as they finally reached their own room. Done with what? Expanding our family. 6 kids is a lot. Taeyang considered it. Ask me again if another child needs us. Because if they do, we'll make room, Zara finished. We always make room. We always make room. They fell asleep knowing that somewhere, sometime, Another child might need them. And when that happened, they'd be ready. Because that's what family did. That's what love meant. Making room. Making space. Making home. Always. Thank you so much for watching. If this story made you believe in the power of family and love, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Drop a comment telling me which moment touched your heart the most. Until next time, remember, family isn't about blood, it's about who you do anything for. See you in the next story.